Welcome to Season 6, Episode 1 of the Family Travel Australia podcast. We are Paul, Katie and Jasper from the Feel Good family. Join us as we explore this great country, Australia, its people, places and cultures.
Yes, welcome to the Family Travel Podcast, where we share the latest in RV industry news, caravan and camping, road trip travel, what to do, where to go, product reviews, and so much more. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, indeed, and welcome to Season 6.
Whoa!
Holy dooly, and what a wild, wet, windy start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. We're actually calling it Ocean to the Outback, and we are commencing our Queensland adventure. And for the next 7 months, we will be covering every corner of our home state, some of our favourite locations and experiences, and some places that we are yet to discover. And to kick it all off, we are exploring the island escapes of South East Queensland. What a season we do have ahead for you.
I'm so excited to revisit some of our favourite Queensland spots, but also to get out. There is so much of this state that we are yet to explore with the van in tow. I am so excited about it.
And we have got our wet weather gear still with us this week.
Holy dooly.
Oh my gosh. Kate joked last week about having a caraboat. That's a caravan that also is a boat. It is been relentless. It just hasn't stopped. And it is causing us a little bit of havoc with our filming. We've had some remarkably sneaky windows of beautiful weather in there, and we're going to be talking about that now on this episode at South Stradbroke Island. I think my personal favourite island. I mean, being a young lad growing up, I went to Surfers Paradise Primary School, and getting to venture over to South Stradbroke Island most weekends with my family, this place holds a very special place in my heart.
And what I love as somebody who's relatively new to South Straddy is that it really wouldn't have changed much from those days of your childhood, Paul, when you were going over with your family, to what it is now. It is still an untouched, undeveloped, natural paradise that is literally on the doorstep of the Gold Coast. I mean, you could jump in a boat and be over there in less than half an hour with your fishing rod in the ocean, cooking up a catch for dinner. I mean, it's amazing.
And we're actually going to talk about exactly that and getting to do that this week. Now, staying at South Stradbroke Island, there's a few things for you to know, and that is that you used to only be able to access this island if you had your own boat. Well, now, of course, you can get water taxis. The way we chose to go over was on the Tipplers ferry service. It's $25 an adult each way. And very fortunate for us is that Scott and Bec, our good friends, are the managers of Tipplers Cafe, and they operate this service. So great to catch up with them and be spoilt to a few upgrades that they've installed and put in place since we were there almost 18 months ago.
Yes, so good. And this ferry service is excellent. As you mentioned, Paul, picks you up from Jacob's Well, which, you know, if you're travelling in your RV and you're looking for a sneaky few nights away on the island, you can pull up there at the Jacob's Well Tourist Park, one of the Gold Coast tourist parks. It's a really fantastic park, actually.
Yeah, we will actually include that in our coverage next week when we take off to North Stradbroke Island, because it's just a fantastic central between the Gold Coast and Brisbane location for you to camp, but also to leave your rig if you want to venture out to the islands.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, what we did was just leave our van and our Hilux parked up on our site, and we walked the 100 metres maybe, with the gate access from the caravan park down to the public jetty. Scott picked us up in the Tipplers ferry, and I mean, fantastic boat.
Yeah, I don't know if ferry's the right picture that it would conjure up for most people.
This is called Fancy Pants Ferry.
It is a high-powered vessel. It is stunning and comfortable and quick.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, before you know it, you're pulling up at the beautiful, the calm waters, the beach there of South Stradbroke at Tipplers Cafe, with the campsite just a few hundred metres down from the cafe area. I mean, it is just perfect.
Yeah, look, Bec and Scott have been managing not only the cafe, but the entire campground of South, North Kurrajee and Tipplers camping area and the cafe and kiosk for, I think, almost 11 years. And they tell us that they've signed on for another 10 at least.
Such good news. I mean,
Yes.
They are the ultimate hosts. Bec is an incredibly well-trained chef, having spent her former years working with the likes of Neil Perry and Kylie Kwong. Her food at the cafe is amazing. And look, if you've met us anywhere, we will no doubt have mentioned to you just how good the Tipplers Cafe food is. It is 5-star quality in this incredibly stunning, relaxed environment. I mean, what I love, actually, and I had a giggle when we were over there, was watching people come and go. They come in barefoot because they've literally just jumped off their jet ski. They wander into the cafe. They order up an amazing meal. They sit out there under the palm trees. They've got their boardies on, swimmers.
It's unusual, I think, because you have got that, I guess, beach island culture and this high-class delivery and presentation of sensational seafood, locally caught, fresh, amazingly presented, and with all of that skill set that Bec brings to it.
At cafe prices.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Now, camping there has gone up a level since we were last there, because they have installed 10 shacks, they call them, island shacks. Now, 4 of them are down on the Kurrajee campsites, which is only accessible by your own boat.
Yes.
Okay, good to know that. And then there are 6, one of which that we stayed in here on the Tipplers campsite, which is only about 300 metres down to the cafe or kiosk, which is great. If you've left something behind or you've forgotten something for your camping, you can just grab it from the kiosk as well.
Yeah, awesome. And whilst they call them shacks, they're anything but. They're actually beautifully fitted out shipping containers. I had to think of the word then. Shipping containers. And they all look out onto the beautiful calm waters of the Broadwater. They do have a number of them with the queen bed. So if you're going over as a couple, perfect for what you need. They also have a number of them that also feature bunk beds that can sleep up to 6 people. So perfect for families. You can make use of the campground amenities, hot showers, bathrooms, and the campground also has a number of free gas barbecues scattered around. So you literally can put your rod in the water, catch yourself a fish, cook it up for dinner. Just awesome.
Yeah, look, the thing to note is that there aren't any cooking facilities within the shacks. But again, free barbecues scattered throughout every campground. And even if you're not staying overnight at Tipplers, you can use any one of these, day use area barbecues for free. It's very, very cool. Beautifully presented, so well maintained. The wildlife is so abundant. Again, Katie, because as you mentioned, the lack of development throughout the last 50 years is the difference. That is the point of difference for this island.
Yes, and I love that their slogan is, where would you wallaby?
Yes, that's it. Where would your wallaby?
Because it is abundant with wallabies. In fact, there is the elusive, as we call it, golden wallaby.
So elusive.
On the island, very rare. Exactly. We've tried and tried. Paul's been out with Scott many times with the GoPro trying to film this golden wallaby that we've yet to see. But you can literally be, kicking back. We were swinging in our naked hammocks or cooking on the barbecue and watching the wildlife literally wander past.
I know. I actually did capture, though, this massive lace monitor.
Yes.
snaking his way really down through the middle of the campground, and then boom, shot up this tree. Fantastic.
Oh, so awesome. It really is a back to basics experience. But then if you're like us and you're not really set up with the whole camping, set up your tents and whatnot, you can add in that little bit of luxury and know that you've got a comfortable queen bed to sleep in with nice bedding and, linen and towels that are provided. So you can get over. It makes the island more accessible for people like us who don't have that whole camping setup, and I love that. But then you're still in this secluded. We were literally the only people in the campground when we stayed midweek.
That is a great tip. I mean, with 6 of them in a row, if you could get your family and friends, a group of mates together to take up the midweek space and it basically be your own island escape, wow.
Amazing.
It's so affordable.
It is, and what's even better is that if you're, I was going to say no good, but that's probably not fair, still learning to fish like we are, and you don't successfully catch anything off the island, a couple of 100 metres, you've got the amazing cafe. You can pick yourself up a meal.
Bec said that they will even deliver the meals to your tent campsite or the shack, whatever campsite you're at, if you're in the Tipplers end of the campsite. Now, there are 120 sites across the 3 different campgrounds. Every single site has its own dedicated fire pit.
Amazing. And this is quite rare, really. It's one of the few places where you can still go and have a fire, of course, outside of any restrictions. The very first time we visited, 18 or so months ago, there were fire restrictions in place, and we were devastated about that. But this time we lit the campfire and we got to sit around with Scott and Bec as well and toast some marshmallows, and it was just so lovely.
We polished off 2 packets of marshmallows. I think Jasper polished off 1. He was pinging off the walls.
Bec showed him a little trick because she's got these amazing, they're almost like a metre long bamboo skewers that are purpose built for, the ultimate marshmallow campfire.
You don't have to lean forward. You can literally stay sort of, inclined backwards and just sort of reach out and toast your
It's
mellow.
like extender arm. And she showed him how to load 6 on at a time. So he thought that was pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. And we had this whole discussion, as you do around campfires, around whether you let it actually singe for a minute, like that quick flash fry, or you don't do that.
Just warm it up.
I'm definitely an ignite and blow out kind of guy.
Well, what's funny is that ignite and blow out. What's funny is that up until this point, Jasper hasn't liked putting the marshmallow in the fire at all, but he'll still go through the process of skewering it to feel like he's actually a part of that ritual. But he started to get it in the fire this time around.
So funny. Yeah, he honestly, as long as we've got marshmallows, he doesn't care if there's a fire ban.
Yeah, exactly.
He still puts it on the stick, and just sits there with it, just chews away. Very funny. Okay, 10 minutes walk directly east, so you're on the west side of the island here. I mean, again, because of the broad water, the sun sets across the water, across the big island in front of you. The mainland is spectacular. You've got the Gold Coast hinterland, with the backdrop. But then you walk 10 minutes across to the surf beach, the surf side of it, the east side, and you are the only person there. There are 0 vehicles. I think there may be total across the whole island allocation for 100 registered vehicles. There's probably about 2 or 3 that actually use their vehicles along this beach as far as a daily activity to get from one point to the other. Jump and Pin, famous treacherous bar in the very north, and then the Gold Coast Seaway, much safer, accessible access to the main part of Surfers Paradise, Southport area to the south.
Yes. So again, you feel like you are on this untouched, pristine beach with nobody else. I mean, we went fishing with Scott and his son Lachlan, and we literally were the only people on the beach. There were no other four-wheel drive tracks. We had the entire stretch to ourselves. I mean, it is just amazing. And then if you tilt your head slightly, you can see the entire skyline of the Surfers Paradise cityscape It's just a remarkable place.
And it's far enough away that it, you know, you'd forget where you were, really.
Yeah.
I could be corrected here, and please do if I get this wrong, but I believe it's around about 21.5 kilometre stretch of beach from top to tail.
Wow. Just amazing.
And no one but us.
Yeah, no one but us. And the worms that we were trying to catch, Lockie was showing us how to get the sea worms, which Jasper and I thought was just fantastic. In fact, we should have been filming Lockie. That would have made some really great fun footage, because these little guys stick their heads up and down so quickly, and Lockie was trying to get some for bait so that we could go fishing, and I had the GoPro and I'm in and under Lockie's legs trying to capture this moment of these little worms getting plucked out from the sand. We got a few though. Yeah,
look, he did very well. Unfortunately though, we didn't catch any fish. However, Lockie had been out deep sea fishing just off the island, actually, the day before, and he and the rest of the team there caught 3 massive Spanish mackerel. And thankfully he did, because that is one of the tastiest, most delicious fresh fish that you can actually catch and cook here on the East Coast. And for us, it meant that we still got an awesome feed of Spanish mackerel. And that was with his mum, Bec, again, sensational chef, showing us how to cook this fish up on the day-use barbecues. Something that us and a lot of people out there will go, I don't know, I might stuff it up. She just removes that fear, or that, am I going to stuff it up? Who cares? She's like, just do it. And she did, and it was fantastic and simple and delicious. Oh, it was the most amazing but easy recipe, and she in fact got Jasper to help her make the paste. It was a Thai paste full of those beautiful flavours. A Thai Spanish mackerel. Yes, don't you love it? It had the chili, it had the galangal, the cumin, the coriander, it had coconut milk, and Jasper bashed it up in the mortar and pestle. We simply rubbed it, I had no involvement, over the fish, and Bec fried it for a few minutes on each side on the day-use barbecue, and boom, we had the most amazing meal. Wow. That recipe, that cooking segment is in our YouTube episode. If you are yet to watch that, do jump on over and get inspired and add a recipe to your new midweek meals or your camping trips, because it was full of flavour and so delicious. I love that Bec told us the story that prior to them taking on the management rights here on the island, when they lived on the mainland at the Gold Coast and the kids were all younger and at school, they would pick them up on a Friday afternoon. They'd have the boat on the back, they'd have their camping gear packed, they'd literally pick them up from school at 3 o'clock, go down to the jetty, launch the boat, go straight over to the island, get their fishing rods out, go and catch their meals. Bec said we took minimal food, we lived off what we caught. They do exactly what she did with us, and, cook up their meals on the barbies, and then they take the kids back to school, on Monday. I mean, what a brilliant way to spend a weekend with your family. Look, I have to say, I'm going to jump in here, and that really is our takeaway for this week. I'll bring it in a little bit earlier because it's relevant, is that sitting around that campfire that night with Bec and Scott, and we were asking them about this lifestyle, this island lifestyle, and they said this environment has been the best thing for our family, because initially it was about it being the best thing for our children, and it allowed us to spend more time with them, and she said, and what's happened is now their youngest is 18, I think their oldest is only 23, Lockie, and is that their 2 boys and their daughter, the 3 of them now want to spend time with them as parents. It gave us goosebumps. We were like, okay, this is just another little affirmation that us making this leap of faith, this decision, this alternative, lifestyle to spend our time with Jasper now is going to probably reward us greater at the other end than we could imagine. And we saw that in them. They were glowing. They were almost emotional about that. Their kids want to spend time with them. Their kids like them.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that despite the fact that the kids have moved off the island and are now living back on the mainland on the Gold Coast, they're still involved. They still come over and work on the island alongside
even on their
Bec and Scott.
days off. They're like, I'll just come over visit, Mum.
I love it. I love it so much.
Very cool.
They've built an incredible lifestyle for themselves, and they're sharing that with the people who come to visit the island, and they're so passionate about that as well. And that is another reason why you will have such an incredible experience on South Stradbroke with Bec and Scott, because they genuinely have a love for the island and they genuinely want to share that with other people.
Yeah, I think, as long as you are willing to unplug, the whole experience is generous.
Yeah.
You feel like you are gaining something every moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
All right. A couple of other things to note is that the kiosk, as we mentioned, is available, whether that's fishing gear or tinned food or just, those things that you may have forgotten, some brekkie items.
Yep.
You forget that, or you don't want to self-cater the kiosk, fantastic. And for the quality is very affordable, we felt.
Yep.
On the weekends, there generally is live music. Love that environment. They have put a swimming enclosure so that you feel safe and secure in front of the main campground, which is awesome. Again, you can bring your own, powered device, whether that's a boat, a cruiser, a tinny, or as we see, there must be about 300 jet skiers that come and go throughout each day on the weekends.
Yes.
Amazing. And plenty of room for everyone. Fantastic. At the South Curragee campsite, it's a very family orientated campsite, I think, as well. There is another kiosk.
Yes.
You can get your morning coffee there. There's pod coffee machines. There isn't a cafe at that end, but there are water sport, unpowered water sport options that you can take advantage of, whether that's a stand-up paddleboard or whatever it is for the kids. There's kayaks and things like that as well.
Yeah, and look, if you're looking for a different kind of experience, or maybe you've got a larger family and you're looking for another accommodation option, down at South Curragee there is a fully self-contained little island cottage. It's a two-bedroom cottage. It's got a full kitchen in there. It has, full bathroom, a massive dining and lounge area. That's actually where we stayed when we first visited the island. So that is another very unique option as opposed to pitching your tent.
Love it. And again, to be able to, in a 10-metre walking zone, get up to watch the sunrise, spend your day getting active, a bit of sun, catching fish, whatever, and then spend your early evening watching the sunset over the water. I love that.
Yep. Just magic. It really is a beautiful spot.
Can you tell how much we love this island?
I think what makes it so unique too is that it's so close to the Gold Coast, obviously, literally, within half an hour from launching your boat, you're on the island. But if you were coming down from Brisbane or even the Sunshine Coast or northern New South Wales, it's still an amazing destination within a very short drive radius to be able to have that island escape and feel like you're worlds away. Yeah,
exactly. Especially when, the difference of a lot of these overseas travels are, anything up to, 13 hours on a plane. It can eat into your time off. Again, if you can sneak away from work for a midweek special or change some plans to get around into the midweek, you'll thank us for it.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, take your hammocks as well.
Yes, plenty of trees in the campgrounds to hook your hammocks up. We got our 3 Nakies all hooked up in this awesome little triangle configuration, and it was so lovely to each have our own hammock now so that we're not fighting over yours, Paul.
The feel good Naki, I like to call it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk to the newsroom this week. I'm only going to touch on this fairly briefly. To be honest, we are called the Feel Good Family for a reason. We really want to only share feel good content. This is a bit of a tragic story, but worth noting. because of how seriously important this is, and for us to share this education. So I'm just going to just quickly deliver this. I don't want to downplay it, but I don't want to harp on it too much. But it's just take this with you this week. Is overweight vans, and there was an incident in 2019 just outside of Tamworth where a guy was travelling with his family and unfortunately was involved in an accident which resulted in 2 of those family members being killed, and he has since gone to court now and has been charged with dangerous driving, manslaughter, some other things. I don't know the exact details, however I do know that he has received a jail sentence. Now, we can't comprehend the amount that would ruin your life to not only lose your family members, but then to
be held responsible for it.
Deal with that. And and it was found that his van was, I believe, 800 kilograms overweight, hence why he's been charged. So again, just really consider that when you're thinking about setting up, or if you're already set up, and it was another reminder for us that this is still, it's easy to forget that you're still towing, 3.5 ton down the road for people who you don't need a license to be able to do that. To tow a vehicle of that weight, you don't have to have an extension on your license. It's, maybe we need to look at that. Maybe that needs to change. Maybe there needs to be more education. But do get yourself educated. Do some research. Cull. Get rid of the stuff that you think you need. You don't need it all. And try and find a safe, I guess, ground, a middle ground for you and your family to still have the things that you want to enjoy, but to do it safely and legally. Yeah,
absolutely. A really shocking and important reminder for all of us who are out there on the roads.
Okay, let's move on, bring it back up, and we will, as mentioned, next week be travelling over to North Stradbroke. Rain, hail or shine.
Oh my goodness. Well, if this weather is anything to go by, I dare say we will be a little drenched at some point while we're over there, but we will get over there. And again, it is such a beautiful island, but very different to South Stradbroke.
So different. And we'll talk to you all about those details next week. For now, we'll leave it there. We'll say dream big, do look after yourself and look after your family.
And happy trails.
There you have it. Another wet and wild and windy week in sunshiny Queensland.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure there'll be too much swimming going on at North Stradbroke if this weather continues. But thankfully we have visited there in the past as well on a beautiful bluebird sky day.
That was possibly the most perfect weather day as far as temperature, the buzz, remember? Because it was around that New Year's, Christmas. I love the environment around those holiday seasons. Definitely busier, but that buzz you can't beat, can you?
Yeah, and the weather was, as you said, Paul, it was just absolutely perfect. So we'll see how we go with this weather as to whether it continues.
Unbelievable. All right, please do look after yourself. Stay dry, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.